Good evening, I'm Ian Hanomansing. Tonight, new modeling, new fears, same caution.
Don't sort of keep adding on the easing of measures.
We'll look at how such concerns are playing out in Ontario. Also tonight, how new travel rules are affecting Canadians abroad.
They cannot put all travelers in the same bucket without assessing their case.
Making the case for more exemptions.
We're happy that Cindy finally got her justice.
After almost a decade and 2 trials, a guilty verdict in the death of Cindy Gladu. And a royal proclamation.
The message really out of Buckingham Palace is very clear. You are either in the royal family or you're out.
The Queen makes it official. Prince Harry is out. This is The National. New modeling from Ottawa echoes the messages we've heard this week from some hard-hit regions of this country where variants are a growing danger. And if we're not careful, Canada's positive direction could soon reverse. Over the course of the last 3 months, Canada has been battered by its second wave, and then we watched it ease. But the decline in average daily new cases has suddenly stalled, and for the first time since early January, the number of cases even moved up slightly. This could be just a blip, but the modeling that Catherine Cullen will show us emphasizes a familiar message. Ease up too soon, and it could quickly get worse.
Now, efforts have begun to tip the balance in our favor.
Good news now, but worrying projections showing COVID variants could send cases shooting up, even if current health measures are maintained.
Further lifting of the public health measures will cause the epidemic to resurge rapidly and strongly.
Officials say this isn't about precise numbers, more a general warning, particularly if jurisdictions relax restrictions.
Don't sort of keep adding on the easing of measures. Give it enough time to see what actually happens.
It echoes recent modeling on variants from Ontario.
Am I missing something here, or is this presentation actually predicting a disaster?
No, I don't think you're missing anything. The cases will likely rise given the variants of concern.
But lockdowns aren't easy on many living through them, and some areas are loosening restrictions. That is raising concerns.
We could see a third wave that is even worse than the second or the first.
The Prime Minister also insisted Canadians have to stick to strong public health measures, but wouldn't bite when asked if any of the provinces are opening up too soon.
The job of the federal government is to be there to support the provinces in the very difficult decisions they need to make.
There is potential relief coming.
The problem is we can't vaccinate ourselves out of March and April. Okay, so once we get to the summer and we get to double digits at least, okay, of people being vaccinated, then we can start to talk about whether vaccine will have some impact.
Meaning in the race between vaccines and variants, the variants are leading. Catherine Cullen, CBC News, Ottawa.
Ontario will be keeping some of its hard-hit regions in the strictest lockdown for longer. Today, it extended stay-at-home orders for 3 areas, including Toronto. As Ellen Morrow explains, some businesses say that's exactly what should happen.
From running his busy brunch chain to now dashing door to door, this is how Brian Jackson has survived the pandemic.
Thanks. Thank you. This year has a share of challenges. We definitely had to look outside of the box. Sorry, I know we don't get through this.
But as tough as it's been, Jackson is relieved Toronto isn't reopening for now, fearing it would have been just a matter of time before another lockdown.
This whole year, I mean, it's been an emotional roller coaster for us. Yes, we want to open. But we want to open and we want to know that we're going to stay open.
Today, Ontario extended the stay-at-home order for Toronto, Peel and North Bay Parry Sound for another 2 weeks at least. The province heeding local medical officers of health.
We're going to be super cautious.
That caution driven by variants of concern, definitely more contagious, potentially more deadly, and on the rise.
They're rising, by the way, under very strict measures and restrictions. This 2 weeks really puts us into hopefully a different context where the variants might still be better controlled or slowed.
And crucially, buy time for more Ontarians to be vaccinated. That can't happen soon enough, says Dr. Samir Gupta.
If we loosen up and we let up, it'll come back, and it'll come back in a way that it hasn't done before, much faster, much harder, and put us in a very dangerous position.
That struggle to control cases as so many businesses struggle to survive.
It's been so long that I forgot what it feels like to have people in here.
Boris Fong owns a pub in York Region, allowed to reopen on Monday.
As long as we do it properly and keep everyone safe, we'll be okay.
Meanwhile, Jackson is trying to stay hopeful for the future. It's all he can do.
The sooner we get to warmer weather and we can get open, get ready, and then get the summers again, I think we're going to have more success.
And Ellen, you've talked to some experts. What do they want to see happen before restrictions in these lockdown areas are eased?
Well, they say Ontario needs to step it up when it comes to testing, to tracing cases, to making it easier to isolate, and that there should be paid sick leave. They say these measures have always been crucial, but these more contagious variants are adding extra pressure. For now, the stay-at-home order in these hotspots will last until at least March 8th. So now we're in this waiting game, Ian, and we're also in this race against time when it comes to vaccinations, trying to prevent those variants from getting a further foothold.
All right, Ellen, thank you.
You're welcome.
In BC, an update late today on the number of those so-called COVID variants of concern. And unlike some other provinces, officials describe the number of variant cases here as low. Tanya Fletcher joins us now for more. Tanya, we heard a bit of encouraging advice on what we should or shouldn't be doing here in BC.
Yes, Ian, and here's perhaps some good news. We don't actually need to change what we're doing. We just need to do it better, essentially. That's the message from BC health officials, and they today revealed more about the nature of how these new variants spread. And here's the thing, even though they are believed to be more transmissible, as Ellen just said, they're not spreading in new or different ways.
The mode of transmission of the new variants is very similar to other variants. The virus is just more efficient at transmission. What that means is that the things that we need to do to prevent the transmission of variants is the exact same thing we do to prevent COVID-19, but we have less room for error.
So members of the public have to be vigilant, Tanya, and so do public health officials. So give us an example.
So aggressive contact tracing is the main thing, Ian. I just spoke with an expert who's been helping with BC's epidemiological modeling, and he says detecting new variant cases quickly and also acting on them quickly is critical to containing them. He gave this example of a recent variant exposure at a Vancouver area school.
They activated rapid testing of, I think it was around 80 students, which was followed up by PCR testing in the single positive case, which was then shown to be a false positive. And that was great to see, and I hope that they'll continue to take aggressive action.
And so he believes that's why BC still has a relatively small number of new variants. We're at 72 now. That's up from 60 last week. But the key for public health is doing that diligent detective work to nail down exactly how and when these variants are spreading before it's too late. Ian?
Thanks, Tanya. Canada reached a COVID-19 milestone today, and it was a hopeful one. More than 1 million people have now received 1 dose of vaccine. Another 387,000 have had 2 shots. That means they're fully vaccinated. As many people eagerly await their turn, only a few provinces and territories have started online registration. But as Thomas Dagla tells us, some worry about vulnerable people getting left behind.
Soon, this could be Canada. Crowds lining up and COVID shots more readily available. Mass vaccination sites finally running with reminders like this to book your appointment first. Prince Edward Island is already allowing seniors 80 and up to register. But across the country, there have been few details about how Canadians will find out when it's their turn and then how to reserve a spot.
It's sort of between
a potential dilemma for Linda O'Neill's 87-year-old mom.
She may get left behind in the vaccine process and the rollout because she wouldn't be able to access a computer system. Will she have to be on a phone call for, say, an hour?
In the U.S., web-based registration has sometimes proven problematic, with tech-savvy Americans creating so-called vaccine hunter groups to game the system.
So you have to worry that something similar could happen here. Whatever system is going to be rolled out to ensure that it's not, making these health inequities worse.
Having people register online risks putting vulnerable groups and often people of color at a disadvantage, say experts.
We need a diverse vaccine rollout strategy to meet the needs of that diverse population. If we don't do that, if we have a one-size-fits-all strategy, then we will leave people behind.
Online vaccination appointments will be offered across most of Canada, with parts of the Maritimes and the North now making priority slots available. Phone booking is also set to roll out almost everywhere. Not everyone will need to reserve a spot, but an online platform offers benefits too.
They show up at the clinic, a record already exists. The vaccinator simply records which vaccine they've received. At that point in time, they receive a digital proof of immunization record.
In Yukon, though, the registration system already crashed once, potentially a sign of the demand ahead. Thomas Daigle, CBC News, Toronto.
One factor in vaccine rollout is temperature. Right now, Pfizer-BioNTech doses have to be stored in ultra-cold freezers. That's at about minus 70 degrees Celsius, and that limits where they can be used, but it could soon change. The companies now say their vaccine can be safely stored in regular freezers for up to 2 weeks between minus 15 and minus 25. Today, they asked the U.S. to note the change. Pfizer says it intends to submit data to Health Canada in the coming weeks. To a couple of developments now involving children and COVID-19. This week, Ontario launched an ambitious plan to test asymptomatic students, a push that has become more urgent in response to the new variants. Deanna Sumanak-Johnson explains.
For students of this Toronto school, a different kind of homework, a self-administered saliva test for COVID-19.
I want to be safe, and then because I have a little brother at home.
It's one of several types of tests available to asymptomatic students and staff.
It's just an easy little swab. Goes on your mouth, on the back of your tongue, inside of your cheek, and then just the front of your nose.
But the goal is the same, says this doctor with one of the Toronto hospitals organizing school testing.
So I think that's one thing that the preemptive testing and the asymptomatic testing, hopefully, we'll be able to catch these cases early. And instead of a student being in class for a few days before you catch it.
The chosen schools are in the areas with higher community infection rates. Staff, students, even parents can come and get tested after hours right at school. The idea is to make it all as easy as possible for the families.
I was a bit hesitant only because we just got the email and my younger two children have been in class for 2 days now. I think we'll all go. We'll all go and get tested to be on the safe side.
I don't mind. I would have minded if it was a nasal swab and more of the invasive testing, but it seems like it's just the saliva testing. So that seems like it's a good idea.
And getting that parent buy-in is key because the goal is 50,000 school tests a week, a goal made even more important because of worries about the new variants.
I think the variant gives us a sense of urgency to improving the processes that have been in place, or thinking more creatively about how to get testing more accessible and acceptable.
The Ministry of Education has asked that each school board test at least 5% of its schools. Compliance starts next week. Deanna Sumanak-Johnson, CBC News, Toronto.
Canada's second wave of COVID-19 has brought an increase in cases of a rare but alarming disease in children. It's known as Multisystem inflammatory syndrome. And as Vic Adopi explains, this time many of those young patients are getting much sicker.
After 4 days of fever, Jacob landed in the hospital with rashes, headache, and fatigue.
It went from not moving, tired pain to excruciating pain.
The symptoms came a month after he tested positive for the coronavirus, but he had no symptoms then. Jacob was not alone.
When I was talking to the nurses, I couldn't believe that there were actually 4 other kids that in the time span that we were in the hospital that were going through it also. It wasn't, I know it's not common, but it's sadly not that uncommon.
Montreal Children's Hospital has seen 30 cases of multisystem inflammatory syndrome, or MIS-C, since October, with more severe cases in recent weeks.
Certainly
from a parent and physician's point of view, it's quite scary, but they all have recovered fully. And I have heard in Canada right now, there have been no deaths related to this illness.
Miss C first turned up in mostly healthy children last May in the U.S. At the time, it was a mystery illness because young patients with it tested negative for the coronavirus. Doctors now think that's because Miss C shows up weeks after an infection.
After the body has cleared this infection, a proportion of people who just happen to be made that way genetically have a hyper response, and they target organs in their own body.
Sick Kids Hospital in Toronto has seen at least 130 cases, most of them in the second wave. In the U.S., there's been a surge in Miss C with 2,000 cases and 30 deaths. There are no national figures in Canada where the illness is still considered rare.
With the new variants, increased number of cases give us a higher denominator and a likelihood of having more Miss C down the road. But again, we do not know the answer to this at this time, but are very vigilant to watching this.
As scary as it can be, most children with Miss C, like Jacob, recover completely. Vic Adopia, CBC News, Toronto.
The federal government has moved to extend several key pandemic benefits.
If you need support while you look for a job, or if you have to stay home to take care of your family, these benefits will continue to be there for you.
The Prime Minister announced top-ups today to sickness benefits, caregiving benefits, and the Canada Recovery Benefit. The time each can be received is extended. The eligible recipients will also be able to claim EI for an additional 24 weeks. The killing of Cindy Gladu, the brutal details of the case, and its controversial path through the courts shocked the country. This evening, a jury in Edmonton reached a verdict. The accused, Bradley Barton, guilty of manslaughter.
Cindy's won her victory. Cindy's voice has been heard. And that's what has to happen to all of our Aboriginal women.
Rafi Bouchikanian brings us this story of the case, details of which are difficult to hear.
Ian, Cindy Gladu's family has kept her story alive for years, speaking to the media, organizing protests. Today, though, as that verdict was delivered in the courtroom, they could only watch in complete silence.
It's been a very long month, very long week.
And a very long near decade for Cindy Gladu's loved ones. Twice now, the justice system poring over how she died in this Edmonton hotel in June 2011.
I see lots of bias. I see that there was a violent crime that happened, and in that courtroom they don't realize that everything that they're talking about is re-traumatizing us. They don't realize that it's affecting us.
The jury originally acquitted Bradley Barton of first-degree murder after Gladu was found dead in a bathtub. Gladu worked in the sex trade. Barton's defense argued the death was a result of rough sex. But from Edmonton to Ottawa, Gladu's family was hardly alone in feeling they did not get justice. The Crown appealed, and Supreme Court eventually ordered a retrial for Barton on a lesser charge of manslaughter.
The Crown can only advance a case when there's a reasonable prospect of conviction.
This legal expert says prosecution had a lot to tread carefully about after mistakes it made in the first trial, exposing Gladu's preserved pelvis, showing close-ups of her wounded vagina as evidence.
I don't think it added any sort of value to what was happening there. I think it could have been done easily through the way of expert reports and just, inviting those experts into the courtroom as opposed to inviting Cindy's body into the courtroom.
So again, a jury heard Barton paid Cindy Gladu for sex. He admitted they slept together for 2 nights, that he injured her by inserting his fist into her vagina, but said it was all consensual. Gladu was found dead in the hotel room's bathtub. The Crown alleged he put her there and let her bleed to death. Today, the jury agreed.
And Rafi's taken a long time to get here, and even in this trial, as recently as yesterday, there was an issue with jurors. What happened?
That's correct, Ian. Until yesterday, there were 13 jurors involved, so one was always going to have to be dismissed from duty in the end. But yesterday, we heard hours before deliberations were set to start that there was an issue between two of them. One juror accused another in front of the judge of derogatorily referring to Cindy Gladu as a sex worker. The other juror was then brought in separately to explain themselves and accused their accuser of being biased, of trying to exert undue influence on how proceedings should unfold. So then the judge actually interrogated each of the remaining jurors to figure out if they were feeling confident in exercising their oath and delivering a verdict. Once they said yes, the judge removed the two jurors who were at odds from duty. And this could still not be over. We have heard from the defense lawyer for Rosemary Barton tonight, hinting at a possible appeal yet, Ian.
Okay, Rafi, thank you very much. Rafi Boudjikanian in Edmonton. Meghan and Harry have been relieved of their royal duties.
The message really out of Buckingham Palace is very clear. You are either in the royal family or you're out.
Coming up, the lucrative deals keeping them in Hollywood. Plus, the debate over Bitcoin.
It's the memification of markets that is underlying all of this.
The cryptocurrency gold rush, but how big is the risk? And born just after the Spanish flu, now she's getting the COVID jab.
Just relax your arm down for me, okay?
We're back in 2. Well, there's been a sort of royal split. Prince Harry and Meghan are out of the family business, and while that seems to be what they wanted, some say the way it played out may have surprised them. Renee Filipponi has more from London.
For one of his last official engagements, Prince Harry dressed in uniform. He's known to have cherished his military titles. The couple held a number of royal patronages given to them by the Queen, all now stripped away. Buckingham Palace says the couple couldn't continue with the responsibilities and duties that come with a life of public service, but they remain much-loved members of the family.
To the outsider, this may seem harsh, but the message really out of Buckingham Palace is very clear. You are either in the royal family or you're out.
The Duke and Duchess of Sussex stepped down last year, breaking from the royal family and moving to the U.S. The door was left open for them to return. But they signed lucrative deals with Netflix and Spotify in their desire to find financial independence, and it cost them. Those close to Harry and Meghan say this wasn't how they wanted things to end.
I know that he'll be personally gutted, just as I was, that he was not allowed to pull a military uniform on anymore. But regardless, that doesn't change his commitment to the individuals that serve in it and those that require care beyond it.
The couple say even without an official role, we can all live a life of service. Service is universal. The Sussexes already made headlines twice this week, first announcing they are expecting their second child, and then news they would sit down for an exclusive interview with Oprah Winfrey. Royal commentators say that may have sped up today's decision.
And there is a lot going on in the world. There's a lot going on within the royal family. Don't forget the Duke of Edinburgh is still currently in hospital at the moment. So I think if they could draw a line beneath all of this speculation, that was the preferable option.
Marking the end of their service to the crown and the next step in their search for freedom from the firm. Renee Filipponi, CBC News, London.
As Renee mentioned, Prince Philip remains in hospital tonight, and he's likely to be staying there into next week. Royal sources say the Duke of Edinburgh remains in good spirits at the King Edward Hospital in central London, but out of what's being called an abundance of caution, doctors have chosen to keep him there over the weekend. The exact reason for his admission has not been disclosed. Next, Canadians traveling back to the country will be headed to a quarantine hotel starting Monday.
I planned to come home and quarantine safely, but I didn't budget for this quarantine cost.
Some Canadians stranded abroad say the costs lack compassion. Stay with us. Welcome back. The federal government has released its list of approved hotels where so-called non-essential travelers returning to Canada will need to complete a mandatory quarantine at their own expense for up to 72 hours. Well, tonight we're learning those rooms will cost just over $300 a night. That is less than the $2,000 total bill the Prime Minister had been warning about.
The quarantine is in place for a very important purpose. It allows for the clearing of a PCR test for a person to be tested for COVID.
Almost a year into the pandemic, and these are Ottawa's strictest measures yet, meant to slow the spread of the variants of concern. But for some Canadians still abroad, it still feels like a step too far.
There's got to be a solution and a better way than to make life this difficult.
As a small business owner that also operates in the U.S., I am concerned about the mandatory hotel stay.
It's also left the travel industry scrambling.
As travel consultants, we are struggling to assist our clients while also following government guidelines.
So what's it like to navigate these new restrictions? Richard Vanderloob is the president of a travel agency, TripCentral.ca. Rohan Jamani flew to India earlier this month to be with his dying father. He plans to return to his wife in Toronto next week. And because of the time difference, we spoke to him earlier today before the updated quarantine costs were made public. Well, thanks to both of you for joining us. And Rohan, let me start with you. What was your reaction when you first heard about the new rules, particularly the mandatory hotel quarantine?
I was very disappointed because for any government to put in place a federal rule for quarantine and making it mandatory for travelers to shell out thousands of dollars, they should and must look into the reason for every individual's travel. They cannot put all travelers in the same bucket without assessing their case.
And so you have been in India, Rohan. You have been dealing with the death of your father. And so have you been trying to get more information, and what has that been like?
Yes, definitely. I'm trying to get more information. I've been reaching out to the local MPPs. I've been reaching out to my MP, who's Omar Al-Gabra. But I've been just being routed to different transport helpline. My wife, who's full-term pregnant, and she'll be almost 37 weeks pregnant by the time I reach Canada. She's running from pillar to post, calling different agencies, asking for answers. I've been tweeting, emailing, but no avail.
Richard, it's been a tough time, obviously, for the travel industry, but particularly the last few weeks as the rules have changed. What has that been like?
Well, we're constantly surprised by rule changes that really seem to come out with not a lot of consultation with industry, often at very inopportune times. So for us, the big thing was the PCR test 3 days prior. That killed a lot of what little demand there was. The announcement of these hotel quarantines and the bit of delay that it took, initially we were concerned with people in the situation like Rohan, where maybe they wouldn't have traveled if they had known that was going to be the case. But, the problem here is that the definition of essential travel or non-essential has never been done. And so we're applying judgments retroactively, and that's a real problem.
I want to play a couple of clips because we've had a lot of feedback and questions from a lot of people. And these two clips in particular do kind of touch on how varied reasons for travel are. We're going to hear from a woman who left Canada long before the pandemic and is coming back soon. And then a woman who has property in the United States and has received the first of her 2 vaccination shots. So let's listen to them.
I've been teaching in South Korea for the past 2 years. My contract is up, and I planned to come home and quarantine safely, but I didn't budget for this quarantine cost.
We feel it is unreasonable for the Government of Canada to mandate returning Canadians who have had the vaccine to provide any PCR testing or quarantine as per the CDC guidelines, and Dr. Fauci stating that we do not.
So Richard, as you hear the stories from those 2 women, what's your reaction?
My reaction is this: a lot of this is very arbitrary. I don't really believe there's data to support this. I think it's politically popular. And I think it's stemming from the politicians and healthcare senior management that were traveling while we were locked down. Supposedly this was to control variants, and yet, how this has been implemented, I think it's been designed to reduce the demand for travel, and it's done a good job of that. but it's unfair to the people that are stuck in the middle of it.
Rohan, I suppose the position from the government in your case would be they would have compassion for your travel circumstances and sympathy for the death of your father, but they're trying to control infection rates and they're concerned that people coming from other parts of the world might bring COVID with them. How would you respond to that, Rohan?
Well, first of all, we are not allowed to board the flight without the negative PCR test. And secondly, I know they are allowing people on compassionate grounds and exemption from hotel quarantine as well as 14-day quarantine. So how is my situation different? They just exempted 750 Olympics and their Olympic nationals and their support team a few weeks ago.
And Richard, I saw you sort of shake your head when I asked the question, and so you don't buy that premise in terms of this having to be done as an infection control measure.
Look, this virus is passed person to person. There's nothing to say it comes from abroad. It's in the community, and all of the rationale for testing, rapid testing, whatever these solutions are to cut transmission rates, but not necessarily eliminate it. It just seems very unfair, and it's scapegoating people that are traveling internationally. I just think it's really optics more than based on real data.
But to be fair, I've talked to a lot of infectious disease doctors, and they did like the idea in January of government saying, look, we need to travel less, even within the country, but especially outside. And so, Richard, let me ask you this. Whether it's right or not, the changes the government has made, I presume, has really reduced international travel by Canadians.
Oh, it's succeeded, absolutely. I mean, but remember that even when it was, so let's say December, we were 5%, 95% down. And so, yes, I agree. I mean, we are concerned about transmission in the travel industry. We want this to be over as well. And if it was doing something, we're right behind it. But rapid testing, contract tracing, whether it's domestic or international, makes a ton of sense.
Rohan, for anyone who might be watching who can make policy in this country, anybody from the government, what's your message to them?
I did not budget for this, and I just want to ask a question. Is this what Canada is known for? No compassion for families who are already dealing with the loss of a loved one? And I asked this question to Trudeau and his government.
And Richard, a version of that same question to you. What advice would you give the government when it comes to managing these sets of rules?
They succeeded in cutting the demand for travel. Mission accomplished. I just don't see that they should financially penalize people that did not know about this. This didn't exist ahead of time. It's fine, I guess, if that's what they're doing from a public health point of view. But to stick people with the bill of it is all about deterring other people from traveling, and it's unfair to the ones that didn't know about it.
Well, thanks to both of you for speaking with us, and Rohan, again, sympathies about your father. Thank you.
Thank you.
There's been a lot of anxiety over these last 11 months, but right now, people are getting some relief, one vaccine shot at a time. And for one woman in Newfoundland, this was her second reason to celebrate this week.
Just relax your arm down for me, okay? Yeah. I was the first one to get it today. They came in the room at 9 o'clock and they done up my hair.
Nora Normore got the shot at her seniors complex south of St. John's.
I think it's wonderful, I mean, say, it's preserving your life.
And hers is a long life. In fact, the vaccine could be considered a birthday gift because just 2 days ago, she turned 101 years old, and she did it with humor.
I have one son left and he's in Mexico. So he sent me $100 for my birthday. But I said, you owe me money. And he said, how do I owe you money? Because I said, I'm 101. And you only sent me the 100.
A mine in Canada's far north is planning to expand, but local communities are concerned.
It was not like that before the mine.
A pink hue spilling over the landscape has residents worried it's damaging their food. Plus,
Bitcoin has been the greatest return of any asset in history.
The cryptocurrency's epic rally. Is there substance behind the hype? Stay with us. Welcome back. Inuit protesters could affect the future of one of the world's northernmost mines. Canadian company Baffin Island struck a deal to extract iron ore back in 2014. Now it plans to double its output and build a railroad across traditional hunting grounds. This story plays out over hundreds of kilometers across Nunavut. Our colleagues at CBC North undertook a grueling journey from Iqaluit to the northern part of Baffin Island to see what's at stake. Pauline Pemmock reports from Pond Inlet.
It's a day-long trip by snowmobile across 160 kilometers of pristine Arctic landscape to get to the site of the mine's port in northern Baffin Island. This is where the mining company Baffin Land loads its iron ore onto the ships in the summer. That cargo sails right through prime habitat for narwhal and other wildlife. But for Inuit hunters, that is not the biggest concern about the mine. This is.
As you can see, it's dusty all over.
That pink glow on the snow and sea ice is iron ore dust. It's coming from several huge uncovered stockpiles at the port. The fear is the dust is getting into the food chain.
Narwhals eat the char, and we eat the char, and bears eat the seals and Arctic char. And that's the concern for the Inuit and the hunters, yeah.
A small group of Inuit hunters are so concerned about the changes they've seen on the land and the mine's plans to increase production, they staged a protest earlier this month. Their camp on the airstrip at the Mary River mine site held up operations for a week at a cost of $14 million, according to Baffin Land. A court order eventually forced the protesters to leave. While the blockade and protests like this are rare in Inuit culture, the motive behind it has garnered widespread support. Leaders say Inuit do want jobs and development, but the worry is the long-term consequences if they don't take a stand.
We are saying that it was not like that before the mine started. So that's an impact. That's one of the impacts that we are enduring right now, and the hunters are right.
Local researchers say they've found elevated levels of iron in char near the mine's port, but more research needs to be done on what that means for the people who eat it. Still, despite millions of dollars in jobs and royalties Inuit receive, some wonder whether it's worth it.
Money doesn't bring back animals.
Here in Pond Inlet, the people want the regional Inuit organization to help them more. They're the group in negotiations with the mine for more royalties and better environmental protection. CBC reached out to the group while we were here in the community, but they did not agree to an interview. Elders like Ilisapi Inuarak say the community is losing trust because no one is listening to their concerns. But in the wake of the protests, that may be changing.
You know, it's unfortunate that they felt they had to go to those extremes to be heard.
Baffin Land's vice president now says the company is open to making changes to its expansion plans, such as easing up on the increase in shipping. Meanwhile, the regional Inuit organization has promised to meet with the protesters, although no date has been set. And after a long delay, the environmental review hearings into the mine expansion have now been scheduled to resume in April. Small signs of progress, bringing renewed hope for greater protection for this treasured Inuit land. Pauline Pemmock, CBC News, Pond Inlet, Nunavut.
Next, the meteoric rise of Bitcoin.
It has zero role as a currency right now.
It's setting record highs, but also raising some eyebrows. Plus,
you can be anything you want when you grow up.
The inspiring takeaway from a comic book. We're back after this break.
I'm Jamie Poisson. Join me for CBC's daily news podcast, Front Burner. Every weekday, Front Burner takes you deep into the stories shaping Canada and the world. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Uber drivers in the UK celebrated today after the British Supreme Court ruled the ride-share giant must treat them like workers rather than self-employed contractors. It means thousands could now be entitled to minimum wage and holiday pay, threatening Uber's business model and possibly holding wider consequences for the gig economy. This week, the Toronto Stock Exchange launched the world's first Bitcoin exchange-traded fund. Investors can now trade in Bitcoin without actually owning any directly. If you haven't been following the rise of the cryptocurrency over the past decade, the numbers are startling. In 2013, you could buy one Bitcoin for less than $200 US, but since 2017, it has been going up and up. Today, the price of one Bitcoin reached more than $50,000 US. Peter Armstrong has more on this spectacular rally.
It only becomes life-changing when you start selling the Bitcoin.
But Keeson Mahalingam doesn't like to say how much money he's made in Bitcoin, but he sure loves talking with his friends who doubted his investment.
I mean, I don't even have to say anything to them now, you know what I mean? It's sort of, the situation sort of speaks for itself.
That situation is that one Bitcoin is now valued at more than $60,000, and Mahalingam believes it's only getting started.
Bitcoin has been the greatest return of any asset in history.
SomSafe built the world's first Bitcoin ETF, in part because buying cryptocurrency directly remains daunting for some individual investors.
You know, I don't know what the returns are going to look like in the future. It's hard to prognosticate. All I know is it's going to be volatile. But what I do care about is that for those who want to have access to this, it's an important, you want to have the most efficient and secure way to do so.
But what is Bitcoin anyway? Well, it's not physical money. It's made up entirely of ones and zeros online. It's not backed by a bank or a country, but rather by a complex and revolutionary form of bookkeeping called the blockchain. Instead of a ledger tracking each deposit and withdrawal, the blockchain spreads its books out over a peer-to-peer network of computers, each transaction becoming a new block in an open chain. This month, Tesla announced it would begin accepting Bitcoin as payment. Visa has announced a Bitcoin rewards program, but many remain skeptical.
It has zero role as a currency right now.
This currency expert says Bitcoin's recent rise is being driven, at least in part, by bored retail investors stuck at home during the pandemic.
Who are looking for the latest thing to kind of jump on. So it's the memification of markets that is underlying all of this.
But Bitcoin has already defied its most ardent critics, and true believers hold firm in their faith that crypto's moment is nearly upon us. Peter Armstrong, CBC News, Toronto.
Next on The National, an inspiring message in the form of a comic book.
You can be anything you want when you grow up.
How a book about Kamala Harris is encouraging some young Canadian students to dream. Our moment is next. Kai Hasselreese is the author and illustrator of this comic book, Kamala in Canada. It chronicles the U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris's childhood in Montreal. Today, Kai got a chance to do a reading of the book for students in Montreal as well as Winnipeg, and Kamala's story has a few of them feeling pretty inspired. And tonight, it's our moment.
I talked to kids in Montreal and kids in Winnipeg. I read them my book, Kamala in Canada, all about the Montreal childhood of Kamala Harris. If you're a kid reading about Kamala Harris, you can learn that leaders were once kids themselves. And if Kamala Harris can be a kid and aspire to leadership, then maybe I can be too.
It's super cool that Kamala Harris was in Montreal, like someone so important. I really like all the pictures. Yeah, and I realized that you can do anything and that you can be anything you want when you grow up.
What an inspiring message for our public school system, that students can achieve anything they want, even in the public school system, and that if they work hard, if they persevere, if they stand up for their rights, that they can also achieve what Kamala did. Anybody can do it if she did it.
Especially in the public school system, and great to hear those stories, whether it's to be a scientist or a prime minister or the vice president of the United States. Must be so cool for the kids, particularly in schools in Montreal, to think, wow, Kamala Harris actually went to school not far from where I am. By the way, I think it's the 40th anniversary of her Westmount High grad class coming up in the spring, so perfect time to make a visit back. That is the National for February the 19th. I hope you can join me on Sunday for Cross Country Checkup on CBC Radio 1. That begins at 4 Eastern, and then later Sunday back here for the National. Good night.